Hey now, happy 2018 everybody. It's your girl T. This is my first video of the new year. Figured may as well come right out of the gate with my videos for 2018 with another fitness challenge, because that's kind of what I do. Well, you know, that and the hair stuff. I am losing daylight rapidly. I detest shooting with artificial light, but I already had to bust out my house lights, and I might have to bust out my Diva ring light thing if I need to. So I'm gonna try to get this moving so we don't have to resort to that. First off, quick update on my hair, because I think in my last video of 2017, I was going through things I learned about my hair over the course of the year and also my plans to cut it, skirt! And I did in fact cut it this morning. Well, technically I cut it last night and this morning. I did my plan where I set my hair in curl formers and trimmed any hair that was hanging out of the bottom from my 22-inch curl formers. I think in the previous video, I kept saying they were 24 inches. I was mistaken, they were 22 inches. So any curl formers that had hair hanging out of the bottom, I cut. And it turned out that wasn't enough for me. I think I was craving like a proper haircut. I really want my hair to be even all around, and now it is. And that is what I did first thing this morning. I got up and one by one I would take a curl former down, hold my tape measure to my scalp, stretch the hair along it, bring it to the point I wanted to cut, and cut. I cut off quite a lot and I actually feel great about it. I feel liberated. I feel actually excited for my next wash day, which is a feeling I have had never times before in my life. I was actually really looking forward to wearing the curl former set and styling it, but for some reason my Jane Carter Wrap and Roll, which is my favorite product to use for a curl former set, left a lot of flakes in my hair. This has never happened to me before, and I didn't use anything with it, which is odd. So I don't know why it would flake, because it was incompatible with nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes products don't mix together and that can cause flaking, but I just used the Jane Carter on its own, which was a first time doing that. I usually will use some sort of leave-in and that, but I really wanted my hair to dry quickly. But yeah, Flake City. And then I had a meeting this morning, so I didn't want to run out to my meeting with flakes in my hair, so I had to throw it in my go-to protective style. It's in a bun, and then I've got this puff on. So I will be showing you guys my hair more, but I'm trying to shoot this before I lose light and give you guys these challenge rules, but that is just a mini update on my hair. I can show you all of the hair I cut here. I've got it. So as you can see, it's a pretty decent amount of hair. These are all the little curled ends from the curl formers. So as you can see, this is like one of the curled ends that I cut. And yeah, it's, I don't know, this particular one was, again, it's not like my hair is bone straight here, but this is probably about 5 inches or so of hair. Really, really happy I finally did that, because it was something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm looking forward to getting a better handle on styling and wearing my own hair and, you know, twist outs and braid outs and things like that in this year, instead of relying so much on buns. That's it for my little mini hair update for those of you who were hanging on and kind of curious about whatever happened with that. But let's talk about this new challenge. This is my first health and fitness challenge of 2018, obviously, because it's only like January 12th. I kind of recommitted to my fitness journey in a big way last year. If you guys have been following me throughout that, I did my 6-week shred from Gauge Girl, and I still have to edit that video. It's just long. That's the reason that it's taking me so long to edit it. The actual content that I shot is super long, so it's taking me a long time to finish the edit, but it is coming. This is our own shred. This is going to be a 6-week challenge, and I'm calling it Project Beast Mode. This challenge is really going to be about stepping things up, recommitting to health and fitness and active lifestyles, and getting out of those negative habits that we tend to form during the holiday season. The challenge begins this Sunday, January 14th, and the last day is Saturday, February 24th. 6 weeks, y'all. Now, a bit of disclaimer for me right at the beginning. I've got a lot of travel plus my birthday coming up in there. So I'm going to have a lot of challenges within the challenge in terms of being able to hit all of my workouts and not lose my mind eating on the road, trying to make sure I'm still eating healthy, because you can drive yourself crazy trying to stick to a plan when you're on the road. And I also don't want to go the other route and completely throw my hands up and just take myself on a food vacation. But yeah, I'm traveling for work, and I'll be out of town about 5 days, late January. And then less than a week later, I have a trip to New Orleans planned for an entire week. And New Orleans, you know, that is an eating city. They eat good there. So I definitely already know, like, I'm going to be going to some of my favorite places to eat while I'm there, and I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm also not going to let myself derail any of the progress I'm doing throughout this challenge and set myself back. Let's talk rules. The first rule is that there should be 5 workouts per week. And these should be very challenging, I don't know if I can make it through this, as I always say, type of workouts. No coasting, no phoning it in. I definitely want you guys to be going to war every time you set foot in your gym or wherever you work out. The gym where I work out, I see people come in consistently. I see them coming in day after day, week after week, and their bodies don't change at all. And it's because they're not challenging themselves. I go in there and I see them picking up the lightest weights every single time. There's no progressive overload. There's no stepping things up in terms of increasing the challenge in terms of how much weight they're moving, how fast they're running, how hard they're working. They set a very low bar and they just stay there and they feel like just showing up is enough. Well, I regret to inform you that showing up is not enough. You really have to put in the work. So these should be 5 very challenging, hard workouts per week. The type of workout you do is, as always, entirely up to you, but they need to be challenging. Personally, I do CrossFit, metabolic conditioning, interval training circuit style workouts. CrossFit is not for everyone. I sometimes think CrossFit shouldn't be for anyone. But I've been doing it since 2010, and I have learned ways to still do the sport responsibly without walking around injured all the time, which used to be the case for me. So while we are going to be working hard, I don't want us to be killing ourselves and actually hurting ourselves in the gym. So work hard, but also be careful and be smart. Rule number 2, on your rest days, which will only be 2 per week, they must be active rest days. That means if it's your rest day, that doesn't mean you can lie around on the couch all day. I still want you to at least get 15 minutes of light activity, going for a walk, even just stretching, something where you're actually moving your blood. I know active rest sounds like an oxymoron, but the human body was not made to sit at a desk all day, and we should be moving every single day. In my case, on my active rest days, I'll probably just take the pooch for longer walks than usual and kind of get that in. I'll set a bar of 15 minutes for this rule. So 15 minutes of light activity. Again, it doesn't have to be a workout, and it probably shouldn't be. It's a rest day. But stretching, going for a walk, gardening, light housework, something like that where you're actually moving around, that's how you keep active on your rest day. Rule number 3, you are drinking half of your body weight in ounces in water. This is a familiar rule if you have done my past couple of challenges, but basically that means that if you weigh 100 pounds, you will drink 50 ounces of water per day. Rule number 4, everybody's favorite, no sugar, no exceptions. Of course, I mean no added sugar, so foods with sugar added to them. Someone always asks me, what does added sugar mean? Fruit is okay. Fruit is not added sugar. Fruit has sugars in it that develop naturally, although I would still encourage you to take it easy on the fruit and don't go overboard. But added sugar is added sugar. So if you're eating bread that has sugar in it, it's gotta go. If you're drinking sodas, they gotta go. Cookies, pies, cakes, they gots to go. I know. That's why it's called a challenge though. And I will say, as someone who has given up sugar and, just bitten the bullet and ridden it out for 6 weeks plus and longer, it gets easier. And it gets to the point where you don't even crave it anymore until you have it again. And then it's like the devil gets back inside you. The less you have it, the less you want it. So if you can just kind of white knuckle your way through those first few weeks, I promise you it does get easier. Rule number 5, and this is a new one, no deep fried foods. That's right, no French fries, no chips, no fried chicken, none of that. I never tell you guys specifics on what sort of diet you should eat, whether it's omnivore, pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan, whatever. That's completely up to you, but across the board, we can all agree that sugar isn't great for us, and neither are deep fried foods. Now, I specify deep fried because I eat a paleo diet for the most part. I don't usually consider myself paleo because I'll occasionally have oatmeal or beans and things like that, but I pretty much eat lean protein and plants. I don't do sugar, I don't do grains, I don't do dairy, I don't do soy. And for me, one of the most relied upon dishes that I make for myself is a lot of stir fries. And that I think is perfectly fine as long as you're being responsible with the amount of fat that you're using to coat your pan before you actually start sauteing your vegetables and protein. So I'm allowing that mainly because I need to be able to do stir fries for myself. And I do think that they can be a very healthful meal option, but deep fried food, pretty much never good for you. I don't think there's an argument to be made there, so they gotta go. Rule number 6, no alcohol. Now I'm gonna put myself on blast right now and let y'all know I will be breaking this rule. Again, my birthday falls directly in the middle of this challenge, and I'm gonna get lit. I already know it. But I'm still making no alcohol a rule of the challenge so that I don't make allowances throughout the other weeks where it's not my birthday. In other words, I've had challenges where I'll say, oh, up to 2 drinks per week or something like that. And then I don't know, I feel like I'm not the only one. If you give me an inch, I'll take a mile. So I'd rather set the rule, no alcohol, and just know in advance, okay, I'm gonna break this rule on my birthday and literally the entire time I'm in New Orleans. Let's be real. But for the remainder of the challenge, which is 5 of the 6 weeks, no alcohol. And if you don't have a special occasion to celebrate or anything like that, no alcohol the entire 6 weeks. Obviously, you are going to do what you're going to do, but that is the rule of the challenge. And I encourage you to stick with it as best you can. Alcohol really does mess up your metabolism in terms of how your body prioritizes metabolizing the food you eat after metabolizing the alcohol you've had. So I think we all underestimate just how detrimental it is when we're actually trying to affect change in our body composition. And the last rule is no cheat meals at all for the first 21 days. Following that, you can have 1 cheat meal per week for the remainder of the challenge. 1 cheat meal, not cheat day. The first 3 weeks are, I guess, a bit of a boot camp in that sense. It's just kind of forcing all of these habits on us and just kind of grunting our way through it. I've found that it has been pretty realistic for me to have like 1 cheat a week or 0. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. And I don't feel like I'm losing my mind, but I don't have cravings like I used to. And I think it's because I had all of those weeks of having nothing at all, you know, super duper clean eating. And it allowed my body to detox and basically just like get over those cravings in a way that I haven't really experienced in quite a long time, maybe ever. If you really commit to eating super duper clean, it's going to be hard, but once you're on the other side, those cravings are not going to be the same. At least that's been my experience. And I generally don't crave the things that I used to have as like my vice foods. Every once in a while, I might be like, oh, like it might be nice to have a slice of pizza or something, but I really am so conditioned to immediately remember how much that kind of food gives me stomach aches and makes me like not feel right, and I just feel out of sorts if I have a lot of dairy or sugar or wheat. And I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel good. So like I get excited to like make my little turkey and yam hash. I'd much rather have that 98% of the time these days. So basically what I'm saying is I've become the kind of person I hate. I will say though, if you trust the process and commit, oh God, trust the process. If you just put some trust in yourself and some discipline, once you make it through, it is very much worth it because I feel much more in control of my relationship with food than I ever have in my life. And even now, like I feel like being a little bit lax over the holidays, I'm able to kind of step back and be like, okay, like you're backsliding a little bit. You're starting to slip back into those old habits. So it's time to nip that in the bud and recommit to the way that you've been eating and you've been training so that you can feel great all the time again like you have been, you know, prior to the holidays. Anyway, those are the rules of the challenge. It's a tall order, I realize, but I feel like it needs to be difficult. I feel like this needs to be a real challenge, not one of those sort of like, oh, we're just trying to maintain. This is really trying to change ourselves for the better and get into beast mode. As always, let me know in the comments if you're going to be joining me on this challenge. I'm actually really excited for it. I'm excited for the structure and discipline and just, you know, taking things to the next level because I'm not at my final goal yet. Shout out to any and all of you who have commented on my last 2 videos. I am devastatingly behind on my comments. I'm not ignoring you, and I actually really love talking to you guys in the comments. I just haven't had a chance to go through them all. So I promise you, once things come down for me with work in the after next week, I'll have time to just take a day or 2 and just go through comments and get back to all you guys. So I'm so sorry if you've left me a comment and I haven't responded yet. It's not because I'm ignoring you. I just haven't had a chance to read them all. That is going to do it for me today. Thank you for watching. I hope you will join me on this fitness challenge, Project Beast Mode, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's some nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.